What's up, MAXPRO? It's me, Jenny Del Pozo, and today I've got a yoga hip opener workout for you. So it's a nice little series. You're gonna feel great. You're gonna feel amazing. If your back is feeling tight, this is a great one to do. A lot of the times it stems from the hips needing to be opened up, and we're gonna have some fun. We are gonna be using a block. If you don't have a block, you can use a foam roller for a little bit of this too, so you're totally fine. It's really just for the opening stretch that we're gonna work in. So up to you. You could also just kind of fold up some pillows or just roll up a blanket if you had that too. All right, go ahead and come all the way down onto your mats. And just hug your knees into your chest, rock a little side to side, massage out your low back. See how you're feeling there. And with everything we do today, we're gonna stay in it a little bit longer. So that's kind of like the goal today, is to right when you were like, okay, we're gonna get out of this soon, we're just gonna stay a little bit longer than that. And that way you just get to be in the stretch just a little bit further, get into it a little bit deeper. So you're gonna take your block on the shorter setting and place it underneath your tailbone tush area. And maybe just stay here for a moment, feel that out. Let your back just open up. And just start to connect your breath a little bit deeper. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose and let it all out through your mouth. Do 2 more like that. And then from here, hug one leg in towards your chest and start to lengthen your other leg out nice and long. Now, when you straighten out the bottom leg, hug it towards the midline of your body still. It's gonna wanna open up to almost towards the side of your mat. Hug it towards your midline so it's still in line with your hip. That'll give you a bigger stretch through your quad, through your hip flexor, and that's what we're trying to open up today. I wanted to do this right after my last run that I did. So I did a big trail run, which was just very, very hilly. And I was like, you know what's going to feel so good is this hip opener that I programmed for you. So I was like, I could not wait to get this in. So anytime you're feeling tight, if you're running hills, if you're sitting at a desk, all of that is going to feel really good to just open back up. And then hold underneath your hamstring. And then you're just gonna start to lengthen your leg up towards the sky. Don't worry about straightening it completely. And then bend it back in. If it does go straight, great. But if it doesn't, you're gonna work with what you got today. And you're just gonna move through that. Bend and lengthen out your leg. Go for 2 more. This last one, keep your leg long, and then just flex and point through your foot. Flex and point. Reach your toes down towards your nose, and then point them up towards the sky. Keep your collarbones nice and wide. Relax your neck and jaw. Go for 2 more. Then hug your leg back in towards your chest. And go ahead and switch over to your other side. So you hug your leg in first, reach your opposite leg nice and long, and just live in the moment. Make sure your bottom leg still hugs the midline of your body. And just notice being on the block just gives you a little bit more space to open up through your hip flexor, and also gives you a little bit more space in your low back too. Just decompresses your spine a bit, which feels so nice to do. But if you don't have a block, you can be doing all these stretches without it, so you can tell. You'll still feel it. Then go ahead and hug underneath your hamstring. then start to straighten out your leg and bend it back in. And again, lengthen and bend. Man, oh man, does that feel good just to get some focus on the hamstrings for a moment too, all the while still opening up your hips. Open up your hip flexor on your right side, or the bottom leg, I should say, whatever leg you have down. I just feel some good stuff happening in my back too. Go for 2 more. Last one, hold it up there. Flex through your foot and point. Flex and point. Whew. Go for 4, 3, 2, last one. And then hug your leg in. Go ahead and hug both legs in and just rock a little bit on your block. And then lower one foot back down towards your floor and the other foot as well. Lift your hips up, move your block off to the side, and then it feels really nice to get off the block too. Hug your knees in again, rock a little side to side. And then use a little bit of momentum to rock and roll yourself up. Then from here, you're going to come onto all fours for a moment. And then just bring one leg forward in front. Now this is where the block can be helpful for just a little bit more support. If you just are like, I can't touch the floor, you can keep the block on one side. And you can even bring the block up a little higher setting too here. You're going to reach back with the opposite arm that the leg is back and grab on. I know. So what happens in this position is we love to let the hips go back and be like, okay, I grabbed my foot. Let's stretch it out. You've got to bring the hips forward in order to get that stretch, okay? So again, that's where the block is helpful on the higher setting. Maybe it's on the medium setting. You can go a little bit further into this. Maybe it's on the lowest. And then again, your hand can always be down the floor. It's more about the hips coming forward than anything else. And then I'll let you reach your hips back for a moment and then come back into the stretch, hips forward. It feels kind of nice just to be on the block, just so you can really still keep your chest lifted. Focus more on that foot pulling in towards your seat. And then come out of it for a second again. And back into it one more time. All these stretches we're doing today, we're just doing one round of them. So just know that I feel like that's kind of nice to know, like, okay, do I have to do this again later? No, just one round. Just one round. And then slowly lower your leg down. Sit your hips back. We'll bring it over to the other side. So foot's going to come forward. And your other side might feel a lot different, okay? And that's okay. You're going to reach opposite arm back. Grab for your foot. You could always bring the hips back to do that. That's fine. Then bring your hips forward to get that stretch. And just breathe into it. A lot of the times when we're in these stretches, we're like, we want to fidget. We're like, oh, now's a good time to have a sip of water or fix my hair. Don't worry about it. You can grab a sip of water right after this, okay? Right after this stretch. But it's just usually just a mental push that we have to get through. But our body goes, our brain goes, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something else. So that's when we start to fidget. Reach your hips back and bring them forward again. Feels good to open up the chest a little bit here too. And go for one more. Reach it back. And hips come forward. And slowly bring it back down. Shake out your tail a little bit. We're going to bring it back over to the first side again, okay? So the block can go off to the side, or again, we can use it if we need it. You're going to reach one leg forward, tuck the back toes. Now you're hitting your lunge. Now, whatever leg is forward for you, the same arm is going to reach up towards the sky. So you're getting that little bit of rotation there too. Then reach that arm. You're going to thread it underneath your opposite arm that's down on the floor still, and you're going for rotation away from the leg that's in front. And then reach it all the way back up again. And wrap and reach it underneath. And lift. And reach. Go for 2 more. This is one of my favorite stretches. Can really feel a lot of things happening. Inner thighs, low back, hips again here. Last one. And then come back to center. Go ahead and reach that leg back. Lift your hips up, downward facing dog, and just pedal through your legs a little bit. Let your head hang nice and heavy. Then you can drop your knees back down to the floor. Float your other leg forward. Tuck the back toes. Hit your lunge. And just breathe into that. Then whatever leg is forward again, reach your arm up towards the sky. That same side. And then wrap it underneath. Get a nice twist. And lift and reach. And wrap it under. Three more. And 2. Last one. And reach. And then bring your hand back down. Walk your foot back, lift your hips up, downward facing dog. Again, pedal through it. And then you're going to come all the way down to your mat. Sit cross-legged. We're going to do a little modified or variation of your pigeon stretch. You're going to sit cross-legged. And then whatever leg is in front, reach it out a little bit in front of you. Now, it's still bent, that knee, it's not straight out. You're still bent, okay? Reach your arms up overhead. Give me a nice tall spine. And then reach all the way forward and breathe. Now, if you love pigeon stretch and you want to go into that, right now is your time to do it. Totally fine to go there. I like this version of it because you can really get your hips squared off and anchored down to the floor. But if this isn't a big enough stretch for you, play. Go where you need to go with it. It's your practice, all right? You can walk your hands a little over to one side. See if that helps open something up there. I just want you to breathe into those spots that maybe feel a little bit tighter. And maybe you notice with every breath, you get a little bit deeper into your stretch. And if you did, walk it around a little bit, come back to center. Slowly bring yourself all the way back up. Switch the cross of your legs. Reach your other leg out a little further. Reach it up. And take your forward fold. And then you just start to breathe into this side. And one side might feel tighter than the other, and that's okay. And that's why we're going to stay in the stretch a little bit longer so things can open up. Maybe you walk it around a little bit and find a bigger stretch that you need. then find yourself back towards center. And carefully bring yourself all the way back up. Go ahead and walk your foot in back a little bit here. Let's take one last breath together. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And then bring your hands down through heart center. And thank you so much for coming with an open heart and now maybe some more open hips from your practice today. Amazing job. I'm Jenny Del Pozo, and I can't wait to be with you again soon. Namaste.